So he goes back to his apartment and furiously destroys all of Linda's belongings, feeling like a complete idiot. Then he buys a bottle of blue liquid and goes to the park, where he sees a couple of teenagers kissing and yells to scare them away before drinking until he passes out. His plan to self-delete fails and he wakes up perfectly healthy the next morning, only to find an abandoned dog tied to him and a note that says sorry. With only 12 days left, Dodge takes the dog and starts making his way home. As he walks through the city, he notices people have finally gotten violent, meaning there are fights, fires, and looting everywhere. Later at his apartment, Dodge feeds the dog and watches the news, learning that riots are happening in many areas. He also starts going through his old mail and is shocked to find a letter from Olivia from months ago. She explains she never stopped thinking about him and wanted to check on him, but she also tells him not to find her because it's too late for them. Her last line says he was the love of her life. Suddenly a brick breaks through his window and the alarms in the building go off as the riots come closer. There already are violent people in the hallway, so Dodge takes the dog, the harmonica, and the letter before going out through the fire escape. He goes to Penny's apartment and meets Owen, who assumes Penny has been cheating with him and punches the wall, breaking his hand. Dodge ignores him and goes to wake up Penny, only for Owen to immediately start arguing with her. When Dodge finally gets to mention the riots, Penny stops to grab as many records from her collection as possible. Then the trio runs out of the building and Penny volunteers to drive, but she's forgotten where she left her car. At that moment some people open fire, so Owen uses Penny as a shield to protect himself. When they finally find her car, Penny has trouble driving away because she isn't very good at parallel parking. Owen leaves the car to guide her, however he keeps insulting her, making it clear why she broke up with him. Tired of dealing with the couple's arguments, Dodge tells Penny he knows someone with a plane and he'll introduce that person to Penny if she takes him out of there. Motivated, Penny finally takes the car out and drives away, leaving Owen behind. Unfortunately the next day they already run out of gas because Penny didn't fill up the tank. As they walk down the road, Penny tries to stay positive, causing Dodge to finally snap. He tells her she ruined his life because he didn't get Olivia's letter in time, and who knows where she may be now. Feeling incredibly guilty, Penny promises to reunite Dodge with his lost love. Then Penny starts hitchhiking and a man Glenn agrees to give them a ride. As they travel together, Penny tells Glenn to share his life story, and he starts from his dad's childhood. Dodge hates every second of it, especially when Glenn confesses doctor had told him he only had 6 weeks to live right before the end of the world was announced. Glenn lost his love a few years ago and after learning about the end he started considering self-deleting, but that wouldn't get him into heaven. His tone makes Dodge very suspicious, especially when he sees digging equipment in the back of the truck. Eventually Glenn stops the truck and says he'll go relieve himself, inviting Dodge to come along. Getting more suspicious, Dodge turns him down and as soon as Glenn is gone, he tells Penny they may be traveling with a psycho. Penny doesn't take him seriously and leaves the truck to walk the dog, who also needs to pee. Then Glenn comes back and asks Dodge to drop the mask, saying Dodge's blank face proves he's a killer. Dodge denies such a theory and Glenn apologizes for the misunderstanding, explaining he hired a mercenary to end things for him. As he laughs, Glenn suddenly is shot, and Dodge sees the mercenary drive away. Afterward Dodge and Penny bury Glenn's body with his own equipment and leave in his truck. Eventually they find a restaurant called Frenzies by the road and decide to stop for a drink. The waiter receives them with hugs and confesses all the workers have been smoking, so now they're making up all kinds of crazy recipes. Penny and Dodge stick to the classics, getting some food for the dog too, and Penny even joins the conga line. While they eat, they share more about their old lives, but they're suddenly interrupted with a surprise. Penny told the waiters that it's Dodge's birthday so they bring over a little cake and a song. Suddenly a waitress kisses both of them and soon the party starts getting naughty, so the duo takes the dog and leave. In the truck, they notice a certain tension between them and end up doing the dirty together. Later Dodge feels guilty because of their age difference makes him feel like he took advantage, but Penny reminds him she's an adult who made a choice. Suddenly they hear sirens and are shocked to see a cop trying to pull them over. Penny wants to keep on driving because the law doesn't matter anymore, but Dodge doesn't want trouble and forces her to stop. Since she's smoking, Dodge takes her cigarette and hides it in his mouth, only to accidentally inhale some smoke. The cop comes over and lists all the things they're doing wrong, so Penny points out it's pointless. However, the cop doesn't care and arrests them anyway. In jail, the duo finds a guy who was arrested for disturbing the peace with his "the end is here" sign. Penny has a breakdown because she's failing her promise, so Dodge hugs her through the bars and explains she didn't ruin his life because he already did that to himself a long time ago. As the cigarette finally starts kicking in, Dodge admits he has no family. His mother died of a terrible illness and his father left them. Then he plays the harmonica until they fall asleep. The next morning, a new cop arrives to take on his shift and immediately releases everyone. Unfortunately he can't return the truck because it got impounded, but he does offer a ride. Penny remembers an ex lives nearby so the cop drives them there.